Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to make an LED ball with glass gems and wire. I am also an Amazon affiliate now, and I do earn a small commission on qualifying purchase at no additional cost to you. But the reason I'm doing this is so that I can detail some of the stuff that I use in my projects for you. So for this Christmas ball, I got a silicone ball that's hollow in the middle, used for like mold making, and I'm filling it with stuffing. And then I used regular scissors and cut off those little triangle things that are there to help steady your mold making. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I wanted to have a substance that I could pin into and then also wouldn't melt when I solder. So this is what I am doing. I have copper. I'm using 18 gauge copper wire, and this is bare copper wire, which I coiled up in little coils, and I'm pinning them on to my ball, and then I'm going to go downstairs and solder them together, and I'll move them a little bit while I need to as I'm soldering. So you might want to wonder about those pink tacks that I have. Well, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is how I can make thumbtacks with silicone tops on them so that they don't heat up. See, I can put my finger on one and they won't heat up and they won't melt. So I've used a few different ways to make the silicone tops for my thumbtacks, and I will be doing a video on that. But that's why my videos now will have some oddly looking thumbtacks. So as you can see, I have these coils and I made a whole bunch of them, and some of them I've already pinned on and some of them I'm kind of pinning as I go. So I'll have to like bend them some and get them to fit. Now, another reason why I wanted to use the hollow silicone ball was I want to be able to remove the ball when I'm done so that I end up with just a ball. I'm using my normal gel flux, which I like to use, that it doesn't like run. A liquid flux tends to just run off your project really quickly, whereas the gel flux kind of sits on top of it a little bit longer, so it tends to stay there for me, especially on something like this that's round and stuff is going to want to roll right off of it. So for this project, I decided I'm going to keep it silver again, just like my other Christmas balls, so they all kind of go together nicely. And it's, kind of silver and gold season, so I decided I'm not going to use black patina, and I didn't want to use the copper patina because that kind of ends up looking kind of antique-y. And for these particular ones, I wanted them to look kind of shiny and Christmassy. So I'm using the dead soft wire for this project because I want to be able to bend the wires as I go, because they have to be able to curve around this ball. So as I said at the beginning, this is a wire and crystals. So after I put a bunch of wires on, I'm going to add crystals in between because I wanted the crystals to kind of help twinkle the LED lights. So you can see I've already added a few crystals. So you can see that even though I filled it with stuffing, I didn't fill it like rock hard. So there is a little bit of give, which actually helps in the bending of the wires so that, if they're sticking out a little bit too much, I can, push them a little harder than just what I want them to be when they're done. So I can try to get the shape I want. I do have videos on how to make coils, so you can check those videos out. I like swirlies and coils, so yeah, that's why I use them. Make sure you use bare copper wire because you don't want the copper wire to be coated at all, because you want it to be able to solder really easily. And this is a very small clear crystal gem, glass gem, that I foiled. I either took the 3 millimeter wide foil and cut it in half, or I took the wider 7/32 inch foil and cut it in like 4 different strips so that it was a lot narrower than just straight out of the box foil, because I don't want the foil to take over the whole crystal. So I just wanted the edge done, just to stick it on just enough to hold it. Now, this does get dangerous if you heat up, and one of these crystals did fall off. If you heat up the crystal too much while you're soldering it, the adhesive in the foil will just let go, and no, it will no longer be stuck to your crystal, and you'll have to, like, get rid of the crystal, get a different one. You can clean the crystal and refoil it. It's not like it's wasted, but you don't want to expect it to stay on once it starts to fall off. That's why it's really important when you foil things, especially when you're using just a bare minimum with the foil, that you really press down very nicely all the way around so that it has the best possible adhesion that it can have, because it's really counting on that little bit of stickiness between the foil and the glass crystal to hold it together. Yes, the fact that you're soldering all the way around the crystal will help hold it together, but you don't want to heat up that stickiness too much. And so yeah, look at the videos I have on foiling really small objects, and that will help you figure out how to foil these little guys. You can see that I'm using waste solder from other projects that have dropped on my table there, and sometimes I use just the brand new piece, like that piece on the left there. Another good thing about these thumbtacks that I covered is I can use them to help hold the project, and the thumbtacks themselves will not get hot. So that was really cool. I had gotten stainless steel thumbtacks for this so that they don't rust, because the first bunch of thumbtacks I got rusted pretty quickly, and I didn't really want that. So now I got ones that won't rust, which is awesome. Now, I can't show you where I got these exactly, the balls, because I think I bought them on Temu. Um, so I can't give you a link for that. But you might be able to find them on Amazon or other places off and on. Presently, I couldn't find them on Amazon. That's why I bought some on Temu. And they were really exactly what I wanted. They came in a variety of sizes, and they weren't very expensive. And the fact that they have a large mouth on the left-hand side there, you can see that I could put the stuffing in. And then later on, I'll show you when I pull the stuffing out. That really was what I needed. I also considered filling them with sand instead of stuffing, and then maybe like just sealing the edge with the end with like tape or something. So I haven't tried that yet, because sand also would make it so that you can push the thumbtacks in. I just thought maybe that would be a little bit messier in case the sand got loose. And the stuffing's working quite nice. I was a little worried that the stuffing might melt, but that hasn't been an issue, so that's cool. And one thing about silicone is, even though I put the thumbtacks in the silicone, it kind of like seals back up. I mean, not really, but it doesn't really leave a gaping hole. So you can use it again and again, just like the work table that I'm working on is clear silicone mat over a printed array, you can see. And even though I'm using thumbtacks into the silicone mat, it works really nicely. It hasn't like destroyed the paper underneath or anything. As I've said before, that yellow thing up in the corner, that's my exhaust fan, which I have actually attached a 4-inch dryer hose to the back of it, and then it goes out my window. So I'm not just relying on the exhaust fan and the filter. I'm actually like sucking the fumes directly to outside, so it should be safer. These crystals are down to probably 10 millimeter in size. They don't get much smaller than that because they're really hard to foil and work with. I know they don't really look very crystally when they're covered with flux, but they are. They're actually cut crystal gems, so they will sparkle very nicely. You don't want to use plastic because plastic will melt. So you'll want to use glass. So now I'm pulling the stuffing out. I've washed my project when I finished it. And I'm pulling out the silicone ball. And then I sprayed some Windex, I believe it was, on my paper towel and cleaning it as best I could inside and out so that it is pretty clean and shiny. And then whenever there's a crystal, I made sure that those were extra clean on the outside and inside so that they were shiny. And this is the LED lights that I bought. And I just wanted to make sure they work, and they do work. Then I have to unwrap all of them. Now there's 120 mini LED fairy lights on a string. So that's a bunch. And so you can see there's quite a lot of stuff to work with. And then I'm just filling the cavity with the lights. I do have a video on when I made a metal star, And that project, I had a 300 strand of LED lights, and that was a lot of lights to try to get inside the project, which is one reason I only bought ones with only 120 lights. I thought that's enough. These are very small Christmas ornaments. I really don't need more lights. So they work. They're really pretty. I put a chain on them so I could hang them up. And that's what it looked like outside. And then I have a little video of it in the dark. And there was just a lot of fun. I'm making a few more different patterns and different styles, and I'll show you them when I have them done. And thank you very much for watching this. Bye-bye.